Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back for another review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. If there's something that I left out that you wish to discuss, please put it down below in the comments section. Also, do me a favor and like the video. We won't be here long. Tisha, I need you to come to the front. Come on, come to the front. I'm so tired of the Tishas that are being put on our television screen not being a good representation of the name. If you said it, then own it. Tell the truth to Mel on why you didn't want to come to the event. In front of Mel, I didn't get an invitation, so I didn't go. But 2 episodes ago, you were sitting there ragging on the situation, ragging on the millimeters with Destiny about how you wouldn't even been there if you weren't invited. So stand on what you say. Kudos to Kimmy for being honest and real about why she didn't go. So we begin the episode seeing Nell and Mel play pickleball. I thought it was tennis, but it was pickleball. Goes to show you what little bit I know. They're having a good time, and Mel asks, why didn't you come to the podcast? She says, it was sold out. I was out of town. By the time I went to buy a ticket, there was no more. And Mel was like, okay, well, when you found out, you could have easily texted me and said, like, look, there's no more tickets and I want to go. But Nell was like, I didn't want to do that. So she says, you didn't purchase tickets, but Stormy did. Stormy, got them way ahead of time. Here's my thing. The fact that Carlos is doing all of these live podcast tapings, right? And he's requiring for certain members of the cast to be there at certain times. I would think that you wouldn't make this a thing where if you were in Huntsville, that you required for the cast to actually purchase those tickets. I think that you would have made it a situation where each cast member had the opportunity to have a chair, because that would have been a great way for you to not only promote the show, but for you to have other people buy tickets for this venue, which makes no sense to me that he didn't do this. It also doesn't make sense to me that Mel is pushing this podcast thing so much, but I personally think that this was requested of her by Carlos. So Nell asks, I saw all the things that's going on, and I want to know, why exactly did Martell go to jail? Mel lets her know, look, despite whatever he's telling y'all, despite him just saying that it's a text message, that it wasn't a text message. It was a text message along with a private video that we made while we were together. And at some point, he sent me the video and threatened to post it. So for those dodos that are sitting in the back that are acting like it was just a text message or that he didn't do anything wrong, this is proof that he did. She says, I let it go until I saw that his baby mother had said that not only did she have it, but she showed it to her sister. She said, I then thought about it, and I realized that he put an image over his penis so that he could attempt to make it look like it wasn't him and it was somebody else. He is dirty, and those that support him, including members of the cast, are dirty as well. So she gave it to the magistrate, and they went from there. Nell points out how she did say that she was bothered by it, especially by Black men going to jail, given the situation that involves her son. But now listening to this, her mind is changing a little bit. And Mel's like, look, I'm even more bothered by Black men's mamas being, put in a situation where that Black man is posting personal videos and threatening to release them. And I'm like, good for her. So Nell redeemed herself in my eyes, because she says now that she knows the story, that she understands why she did what she did. I just wish that she would have reached out to Mel prior. If y'all are supposed to be friends, because you do actually have her number and she is someone that you've interacted with, you call her, she responds back to you. She even said it there while you were on the tennis court, how she answers certain phone calls and stuff like that from you. You would think that you would reach out to her to find out that situation. So we find out Nell has been going through her own things that basically her stepdaughter is going around saying things. Before I get to that, let me not forget to say that Mel said that she didn't watch the Tasha K interview. So they get back to this whole situation with, you know, the false statements being put out, being interviewed, because the same thing that's being done to Mel was what was done to her. I believe that she's talking about the interview that her stepdaughter Lexi did with the YouTuber Giving You the Real Tea. I did not watch the entire thing. I saw clips of it, and one of the things that was said was that Nell was basically a side chick. Nell says she didn't know that he was married, so she wasn't a side chick. But in my opinion, and you guys tell me yours, if he was married, whether they were happily married or not, and he's seeing you, then you are a side. Like, you are the other woman. You are the mistress. Because if this were to happen another way, you would be speaking differently, okay? Mel apologizes. They agree that they're gonna, you know, both communicate with each other in the future. We come back to see Stormy meet up with her friend Latricia. She's a trainer. They talk about working out and catching up on family. That Tisha wants to work out at the gym with Trisha, but she wanted to make sure that it would be okay with Stormy before she agreed to doing it. And Stormy is like, look, if you want to work out with her, that's fine. Tisha actually is cool. We fell out, but it wasn't because of Tisha. It was more so because of her husband. Yeah, I called him a B. It's because he's a B. I still don't agree with Stormy calling him that, even if she feels like he acts that way. Don't disrespect the man like that, because if it was done to Courtney, she would feel away. She points out that they would have been okay and they probably would have come back, but Marceau is the one that messed up the dynamic. He tends to do that. He did it with Mel and her, and now he's doing it with them. That is kind of a good point as far as Mel is concerned. Stormy, if you would have stopped calling that man a B, I don't think he would have been successful with putting a wedge in between you all. We find out that Trisha was probably previously married. She's now dating a new man named Ken. And unlike her ex, he's not combative with her. He's a lot like Courtney, who Trish has known since high school, so they're gonna double date. I really don't care about this person enough to hear this conversation, and we saw multiple scenes with this lady. Like, just get to the point where we find out that she used to sleep with Martell, and then we could talk about her. We see Stormy and Courtney, they go car shopping. What else do they have? I'm kind of over it. They talk about the surrogacy thing again for the umpteenth time. This time he's on board. I feel like these conversations are drawn out. They talk about the different things that come with surrogacy. Only thing that was sweet about this conversation is that one of the things that Courtney said is that he wished that he could previously have, you know, fed his son, but because Stormy was breastfeeding, he wasn't able to. That's not true. All Stormy had to do was pump and teach him, you know, how to go in between the breast and her bottle. I did that at one point, and it does allow mommy to sleep and daddy to have some bonding time. Stormy talks about, you know, Trish, they agree to go on a double date. We then see Trish and Ken. They're a new couple. She has a son who's 18, a daughter who's 10. He has a daughter that's 13, but is not biologically his, but she's his. They like the gym because that's all they keep talking about. They talk about how long that they've hid their relationship, and she was married for a long time. And she talks about how, you know, she's thinking about training Tisha, but that could be a potential problem. If you keep it business, then it's not going to be a problem. Stop trying to make things more than they have to be. To me, this conversation was boring. It was a bunch of mumbo jumbo. The most important thing to note, however, was that as they're talking about how they know different people, like he says he goes to Black and he likes Marceau and all those other things, she says that she sees Martell in the gym a lot because I trained Destiny there. What did one have to do with the other? So are they going to the gym together? Is there no other gym in Huntsville? I don't quite get it. So we see the OG3 meet up at the plant shop. It's unfortunate that these women can't get along often, because when they are together on television and they're just having casual conversation, it does make for decent TV. They catch up. Tisha talks about, her family trip to Africa. We find out that in November, Kimmy's mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, but hers wasn't as bad as Kimmy's. I hate how much cancer is ravaging through families. But the good news is that Kimmy's mom had surgery, and like Kimmy, she's doing great. They've done a lot of business. They've done a lot of work. They've expanded a lot of areas, and they finished some office renovations. And although Tisha's husband is a contractor, apparently her office still isn't complete, because Kimmy's telling Tisha that she can come rent a space from them. Makes no sense. So they asked Mel how she's been, because they've seen the things that have been going on in social media and they saw the arrest. And Tisha wants to know if it's true that, she put this out, even though it's something that he sent months ago. I hate how they act like the amount of time matters. The point is, at some point, he threatened to reveal an intimate moment between a husband and his wife. Whether she took 2 months to put this out or 2 years, if he threatened to reveal it, then she should be able to file. So Mel fills them in about the situation. She says after everything that happened in July, she just decided that she was going to go to the magistrate. So a warrant was set for harassing communications. Kimmy is like, listening to her explain it, it makes more sense to me than I gave her credit for. And I don't understand how, after all this time, after all that this man has done to this woman, after having a baby on her, after cheating for a good duration of their marriage, after mistreating her the way that he has, after revealing some of her personal information to his other child's mom and all these other things, that they question her. Mel is no saint, yes, but you've seen this man time and time again and the way that he's been towards her. Tisha says that him doing that isn't cool, that after all these years, that you're not supposed to share intimate moments between a husband and a wife, and that maybe there's no hope for him. And I'm like, okay, it's about time that you all realize this. We then hear about how Mel hasn't seen them and how they don't reach out. And I gotta call Mel out. Do you want to be friends with them or not, Mel? Because in one instance, you sit here and you say that after filming, you gotta decompress so you don't talk to them and you don't interact with them and all these other things and how you can't trust them. Then in the next, you're sitting here complaining because they don't reach out. Pick which one you want. Kimmy says, look, you can't say that we don't reach out, because I called you and it said that your mailbox was full. And then after that, I decided to text you and it was nothing. Tisha says, look, you're right. You've been doing better, so I'm going to do better. I apologize for not reaching out. Then the subject of the podcast comes out. Tisha says she didn't come because she didn't get an invite. Mel is like, well, Stormy came and she didn't get an invitation. It was a public event. Matter of fact, Stormy bought 4 tickets. I'm just like, okay, Mel, you don't care about this like this. Why are you bringing this podcast to every single person when the place was full? Tisha points out that the last time that she went to an event for Mel, that she was escorted out. And we get a flashback of it when Mel did her first release for her facial stuff. And she was embarrassed, which is true. But I wish Tisha would have told her that instead of putting it on the fact that she didn't get an invite, so she didn't go. She says, look, I didn't get invited to that. I was embarrassed in confessional. And I'm not going to allow that to happen again. I won't ever put myself in that position again. Kimmy says, well, I'll tell you why I didn't come. I didn't come because a lot of the people that tend to flock to you are mean to us. I don't know what people were mean to Kimmy. I thought that the people were mean to her husband. Maybe I'm missing it. Who was talking about how while Kimmy was going through cancer and while she was going through chemo, that she sacrifices basically by taking it and faking it. I thought that we were standing up for Kimmy. And by we, I mean people, because I'm definitely not a millimeter. So I don't know what she's seeing. She then says that Sonny told them that the energy at the podcast was very negative. And Mel says the energy that was negative was directed to Sonny because what Sonny did was foul, and it was. She says she points out that Sunny, being her producer doesn't look good, and the people saw that. To be fair, also, Sunny came like like this, and she was down talking Destiny like she's better than, when you really don't know the whole situation. And Mel said that she pointed that out, and she also, said that they should have a conversation. So they say that girl code was broken, and Mel laughs, and Kimmy's like, don't do that. And she said, I don't believe Destiny had a girl code. And I don't believe it either. Mel says, look, at one point she was my friend. Kimmy says, she didn't sleep with your man, so you laughing. And Mel's like, I don't know what she did. And it's true, she doesn't. Because here's the thing, and I'm not trying to say that she did. The way that Destiny kind of flipped on Mel, the way that Mel flipped on Destiny, it just was like, why is this so much heat on both sides? I still don't get it. She says that Mel does, that she's gotten to a place where she's recognizing that she did have fake friendships. To me, that's the end of it. It's sad that the cast just sat back and judged Mel instead of asking her what happened, and they automatically took Martell's side, because time and time and time again, for the duration of this show, that is what has been done. My last question is to you all. Did Carlos tell Mel to keep talking about this whole podcast situation? Because she can't care this much about a podcast when we've seen time and time again that Mel has had all these other events that the cast has never shown up to, that were also made public. So why is this so significant? Carlos, why are you itching so hard to be a part of this show? You all, that's all I have. Tell me what you thought. Leave a comment down below. And until next time.